You started your business whilst you was working in an employed position. How did you focus on building your client base at that point?
I posted a lot in like community sites and things like that. So I'd post in them. We had like a group that was just people on my estate because I live on a new estate. So there was new people joining all the time. Like a week could go ahead and there'd be like 5 more people live on the estate now. Let's make sure they know that I do beauty and things like that. That was where I got most of them from. And the DM method,
which is that's a strategy that I teach in the private members club. That got Gemma 92 clients in 6 weeks.
I know.
Wild.
Madness.
You must have sent about 1 million people a message.
Yeah, so I did that, posting constantly, just showing up constantly, really, like making sure people knew who I was and what I did, sort of thing. Even if they didn't need me at that point in time, they might do down the road. So, like, for instance, spray tans. Everybody knows on my estate that I do spray tans. If somebody posts in the group, does anybody know who does spray tans? 15 people will tag me in it and be like, Courtney does and she's only down the road. Perfect. They know who I am and they know what I do. Getting your name and your face and whatever you do out there. So like people are a bit scared to post on social media of their actual face. But I find that gets more engagement. Yeah. Definitely gets more engagement. A few weeks ago, I posted a picture of me with a wax stick up my nose. And I was like, I always say to my clients, I'd never offer a treatment that I wouldn't have myself. I showed me having my nose waxed. And then I got about 15 people just messaging me, can I book in for that nose wax thing? Does it hurt? And I'm like, it absolutely does not hurt. No, come in and have it done. It takes 5 minutes. But if I hadn't have posted that picture with that, I looked a bit silly, but do you know what? I got 15 clients out of it. Yeah. So it was great. It was really good to do that.
This is amazing. And do you think people underestimate how long it takes to build a client base?
Yeah, I think people think it takes such a long time, but if you're willing to show up, put that work in and work your ass off, it'll come to you. You only get out what you put in. Yeah. So if you're willing to do it, it'll come.
Yeah, I agree. I think some people like post once a day on social media and they're like, well, I post every day on social media. It's like, well, you need to follow more strategies. Yeah. You posting once a day on social media might take you 20 minutes. What are you doing with the rest of that day? What are you doing with your evening? What are you doing with your weekend? And that's not me saying like work all day, all evening, all weekend, but sometimes people think they underestimate the amount of work and action that is required to get fully booked. It's a lot. It takes a lot. Yep. And you've got to try different strategies. And that's why building the members club was always one of my goals, because I want to teach people different strategies. Like there's one training video in the members club and it's like 28 ways to get new clients. There's not one way. There's not 2 ways. Yeah. And I wouldn't say try all 28, but I would say choose 2 or 3, crack on with it every day. Every single day. Spend time every single day doing that, because that will pay off. And like you said, you was posting in the sites, multiple sites. You were showing up on your social media. You was doing the DM method. You was getting your name out there. Those things take time. And then, but like you say, when you do it at the level that you was doing it at, it doesn't take that long. Yeah. It really does depend on what you put in. And then when you get into good habits like rebooking clients, making their experience amazing, making sure, I don't know, you've got a nice little heated blanket or they're really welcomed in the salon. All those things are like have a compounding effect on the business, and within a matter of months, like for you 9 months, you can work for yourself. Yeah, it's not an overnight thing. No, it's really not. And I hate people that are like, oh, I'll teach you how to get 6 new clients this week. It's like, okay, well, yeah, that's possible, but you can't guarantee it. It's not an overnight thing, but it is so worth it when you get there, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Do you think that your mindset is important when it comes to leaving the security of an employed role to start your own business?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to believe that you can do it over anything else, really. And it took me a long time to get to that.
Yeah, it's not an overnight thing again, is it? Personal growth isn't an overnight thing, neither's business.
Yeah. It did take me a long time to, like I said, my partner, he was just like, why are you still working there? Hand you noticing we make enough money now that you don't need to go there anymore. And he's like, and you hate it and you'd rather be working on your business. And yeah, I know, but, and he'd be like, no buts. Literally, you need to go in tomorrow and hand you noticing. And he sort of gave me that kick up the arse that I needed. I still had to believe it myself. So I was like, right, let's look at the numbers and see if I do earn enough to sort of take that away and we'll still be fine. Taking that in the first 2 weeks. So I was like, right, yeah, you need to leave this job. You don't need it anymore. It does nothing for you whatsoever. But definitely you have to work on yourself to believe that you can take that next step. And that a lot of the time I thought as well, like, well, who am I to set up this business and be really successful?
Imposter syndrome.
It's like, well, why don't I deserve it?
Yeah.
Everybody else deserves it, so why not? So, yeah, again, having that back and forth conversation with this little person that sits inside my head sometimes and tells me that I'm shit when I'm not.
No.
So, yeah, once I got past that, and like I said, I handed my notice in, and then the company went into liquidation, so it was like, oh well,
it was happening anyway.
Yeah,
I think as well it's years of conditioning, because I think it also, like, the household that you grow up in has an impact on it. If all you've ever known and all your parents have ever known is employment, and all they've ever believed and all they've ever shoved down your throat is the safest route is college and university and employment, and that's what they believed and that's kind of what you've believed, and then you speak to people about going self-employed and they're like, oh no, how hard is that? Like, it's so hard to then be willing to take that risk and make that jump, whereas it is scary. And I think we have to take risks in order for us to succeed. We have to.
Yeah.
And your risk was leaving the job. Although it was a calculated risk and you already knew it was going to work out well because you had done the numbers, we had gone through these things, you still had years of probably conditioning and this imposter syndrome. It's almost like physically holding you back. But what happens is your path is your path. And when you're doing the work on your personal growth and your business growth, your path is always going to come your path, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
So what happens eventually is you can have as much resistance as you want. Eventually that resistance gets that uncomfortable that you have to leave the job, or you have to give your notice in, or you have to make a change because it's your path, and the universe is never going to let you not follow your path because of some feelings. Your feelings are just going to get more intense, more uncomfortable, or you're going to hate that job even more, or you're going to wake up one morning and it's just going to be that tipping edge and it's going to be like, I'm done. And for you, it was a conversation with your partner.
Yeah.
He was like, bitch, you're a boss bitch.
Yeah.
Get out of there.
Yeah. I found as well that I couldn't fit people in because I was only working like 2 days a week. They were already fully booked and I was like, I need some more days or something here. Like, something's going to have to give.
Yeah.
So it was the best thing that ever happened, really.
It really was.
Yeah.
It really was.